I'm Brittany Bowyer.
And I'm Amanda Whitaker.
And we're coming to you today from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, where the Sun Devils are gearing up to take on USC for their homecoming game this week, looking for the program's 600th victory. Amanda, how are you feeling about this game?
You know, actually, I'm feeling pretty good about this. There's been a lot of talk this whole season about the inconsistencies of this team, but so far we've seen two major upsets with Oregon and Washington, and now they have 2 consecutive wins under their belt, and not to mention this is going to be a homecoming game for the Devils, so I'm feeling really confident that they'll be able to pull this off, along with a lot of the other wins that people didn't think that they were going to be able to pull off.
Well, not even just that. They also beat Utah last week on the road. Now Rice-Eccles Stadium, that is no easy task. Utah narrowly was defeated by USC the week prior, 27-28. So I think that they have a really good shot. USC just does not look like the same team. They narrowly were able to squeeze by a lot of games this season. They got defeated this week against Notre Dame. Now, don't get me wrong, USC is one of those teams that will bounce back and fights really hard after a loss. But, you know, I got to say, I think all of the keys and all of the arrows are pointing towards the Sun Devils being able to come up with yet another upset. And, you know, if they come up with another upset, it's going to be the first time since 1997 that ASU has defeated both Oregon and USC in the same season, which is huge for them.
And I agree with you, Brittany. They have that going for them, the 600th victory. And as we've seen this whole season, this team plays really well under adversity.
They play great when you underestimate them. I think that's what drives them. That's the motivating factor for them. But what do you think has been the biggest key thing for the Sun Devils to winning?
The biggest key thing has been definitely their defense. They have a solid defense now, which was kind of up in the air at the beginning of the season. And now we've seen that they can come out on top. They can be aggressive. They sacked the #1 passing leader 5 times, Washington. Yeah, so definitely they're someone to watch out for. They're a force to be reckoned with. And I think, if anything, that we can trust this defense by ASU.
And I really think the defense has stepped up to the plate. You have to look at years past where people constantly were criticizing the defense, how many yards after a play they were giving up or after a catch. You have to look at how many third down conversions they've allowed, and they have just stepped it up so much to the point where they're holding opponents. They held Washington to 7 points, Utah to only 10, and that's less points than they were holding on average their opponents the entire season.
Yeah, and even against Oregon, they only allowed them to convert one of their plays, and their third down defense has been phenomenal.
And, you know, in the Todd Graham era since 2012, ASU is 18-0 when holding opponents to 20 points or less, which I think that's huge. And, you know, it really shows how much the defense has been able to step up. You can see improvements in their tackling. I mean, they're definitely wrapping their opponents up, bringing them to the ground. They're not just trying to knock them over, push them out of bounds, which is a huge difference.
And people have definitely been underestimating this ASU team. And even head coach Todd Graham said that this coaching staff has been trying to adapt to this team, which I think that they're doing.
I think they're adapting great.
Yeah.
You know, I think Phil Bennett could be nominated for Defensive Coordinator of the Year. Look at what he's been able to do. Tell me one defensive coordinator that's been able to turn a program around this much in just 7 weeks. You're not going to be able to. I mean, it's night and day difference. But, I mean, you also have to look at ASU's offense. I mean, we also have Alabama's old offensive coordinator in Billy Napier.
Right.
And we've gone up to 12th nationally in time of possession, and now they're first in the Pac-12, which is something last year nobody would even dream about.
And they're leading college football for the least amount of penalties per game, which is huge because that definitely has an effect on whether you're going to win a game or not.
Definitely. The offensive line, we've seen huge strides in them providing protection for Manny. He's not getting sacked nearly as often. He has more time to find his receivers. And let's give our wide receiving core just a huge round of applause.
Every receiver from N'Keal Harry to Jalen Harvey,
all of them.
Every single one.
Everyone is just outstanding.
Yeah.
There's not one player who's not out there just busting their hump to get that win. So
I think bottom line going into this ASU-USC game this weekend is don't underestimate this team, because that's what everybody's been doing. It's kind of been the key theme. They've been underestimating them, and then they end up coming out on top because they definitely have some forces that are coming out and showing up to these games that are leading to these wins.
Or do underestimate them. If you're a Sun Devil fan, maybe you want them to be underestimated because they just come out and they just are plowing right through everyone's expectations.
And they have a shot at winning the Pac-12 South, so that could be huge for them this year.
USC is currently sitting first, and ASU is sitting second. So, you know, with the victory over USC, I'm going to make a bold prediction. Well, I don't know if it's so bold anymore now that they beat Utah, but if ASU beats USC this weekend, they're going to win the Pac-12 South. I think that Oregon State's going to be an easy game for them. I think UCLA, I'm sorry, is going to be a challenge. It's not going to be a cakewalk, but I think that they can pull off a victory even though they're going to be playing in the Rose Bowl. And I think that the next big challenge that they're going to have in front of them is going to be the last game against Arizona.
I mean, they're definitely over the hardest hump of this season because they have had a difficult schedule.
Yes, as soon as they get past USC, I would agree that they're past the hardest hump. The biggest remaining game for them between the last 4 with UCLA, Oregon State, Colorado,
and of course the
Arizona.
ones we don't speak of.
It's definitely going to be Arizona. That's going to be their last big remaining challenge. So make sure you get out here this Saturday. Kickoff is at 7:45 p.m. It's going to be broadcasted on ESPN. Watch the Sun Devils take on the Trojans and battle it out for the victory in Tempe.
And it's homecoming. They're having a stripe out, and Coach expects everyone to be there.
He did say that. So make sure you check the map, see where you're sitting, and realize what color you're supposed to be wearing. No one wants to be that person wearing gold if you're in a maroon section. Stick out like a sore thumb. So make sure you check that out. That's all we have for you today. I'm Brittany Bowyer.
And I'm Amanda Whitaker.
In Tempe.
It's Cronkite News.